Welcome back! Today on Dialed In DIY, we're making an amazing microphone pop screen that will help give that professional finish to all your voice recordings. You may recall that in a previous video, I made a microphone pop screen that was really lightweight, and I covered all the amazing benefits that you can get from that. Check out that video in the link below for more information, but today we're going to make a much sturdier desktop microphone pop screen, starting with PVC parts and a little extra fabric that you can pick up from another one of the video projects I did. Today I'm making great use of some leftover parts from an outdoor project I was working on, and taking this 4-inch drain pipe and elbow, and I put the little piece of drain pipe into the elbow and measured the depth at which it goes in. Then I'm going to grab some of that leftover material that came from the bottom of the box spring mattress that I took apart in a previous video, and I'm going to place the elbow on top of it and trace out a circle, and then go back and cut it out just a little bit larger than the circle is itself. This will give us just a perfect extra little bit of fabric to work with when we mount it, and you're going to see why that's important in just a minute or so. You see, that loose piece of fabric is going to be wrapped just over the drain pipe once we're done with it. So in order to get it to the right size, we're going to go back and cut it on that line that we previously made on the drain pipe so that it will fit perfectly down inside the elbow. Now we're going to grab the elbow and find one of these ridges and take our hacksaw back and cut this off at just that same point so that we will have a little bit of a loop that our drain pipe fits into, and it'll give us kind of like a thin donut kind of an appearance with these two when they're sandwiched together. We've made nothing but rough cuts so far, so this is a good time to go ahead and grab a piece of sandpaper or one of these sanding pads and get rid of any rough edges that you can find on any of the two pieces that you've cut off so far. Now that we have all of our pieces cleaned up, we're going to grab that loose piece of fabric and put it over the drain pipe, pinch it with a couple of fingers, and make sure that we have extra fabric over all sides. We will slowly start to push it into the section of the elbow and pull the fabric back tight as we sandwich both pieces together, and you'll see this makes a perfectly tight little drum of a filter. And since every good filter needs a stand, we're going to grab some extra PVC and start making some marks and cuts. So we're going to start with 2 pieces of PVC, 3/4 of an inch thickness, and make 7-inch long sections. Once we have these cut out, we need to go back and cut out 2 more pieces, each 4 inches long. The 4-inch pieces will each be pushed into the end of a T-connector. These T-connectors just slip straight on and have a threaded part coming out the top. We're going to put an elbow at the end of each of those, and you'll see we now have kind of a horseshoe shape. Next, we'll take a threaded male connector and put it into the top of each of the T's. I'm now cutting 2 more pieces of PVC 15 inches long each, and we'll be using these as our side arms. The filter will mount into these when we're done. Now you're going to measure the center point on your filter ring on opposite sides, so you can go back and drill holes, being careful not to drill yourself or the fabric, so that you can put the screws through that we'll be using for mounting. The screws are going to come from the inside of the ring, and you're going to put a washer in place and then slide another nut down over top of this. You want these to be snug so that they will hold firmly and give you a good base for moving your filter around when you need to in the future. You can see I'm now making marks on each of my arms, one at 4 inches down from one of the ends and 3 inches down from the other end. I'm doing this on both of them, and then I'm going to use these as points at which I will go back and drill holes completely through. And before I do that, I'm going to connect these 2 points with a line, because this will be important in the step we take next. Using a drill bit just bigger than the size of your screws themselves, put holes through both pieces of PVC at the marks that you made. We're going to use these 2 points as a guide so that we can cut a slot or groove all the way down our arm. This will be done on each side, and I'm going to use a Dremel with a cutoff wheel for this purpose. I'm going to follow that line I drew and then just keep expanding it until it's as wide as both of the holes that we drilled. Once the first one is done, I'm going to go back and duplicate that exact same slot on the other side of the same piece of PVC. That way, we have 2 slots open from one side to the other that are about the exact same size. When the first arm is done, go back and do the same on the second one, and when it's all complete, take a piece of sandpaper, slide it through both of the slots, and use that as a way by which you can sand off any extra rough edges. This works really well and is a good step to do before you go ahead and put these back in place. Notice I'm taking the 4-inch section and putting those towards the bottom when I put them back in the T. Now I'm going to go ahead and slide the screws from my filter ring right through those slots. If you can't quite fit it in that way, just take one of the arms out first before you do it. Once it's back through, put a washer over each and then a wing nut, and test your fit. Make sure this slides easily up and down, and if it doesn't, go back and tweak it just a little bit with a little extra sanding. Once you're satisfied with that, take that last piece of 7-inch PVC, put on 2 elbows, and slap it right on top of the 2 arms, and the basic structure is complete. For my project, everything I used was either salvaged or repurposed from another project, including the paint that was left over that I used for decorating my final filter stand. I've been using that filter stand for this whole video, and if I wasn't, my piece would sound like this. Just a pretty popped up sounding project. So yeah, it was totally worth it. Thank you for watching. Please press like and then subscribe. There will be more dialed in DIY to come.